What I want to talk about now is the 3 levels of forgiveness. Because, really, what's in these 2 sheets is the complete Course of Miracles. This is it. Everything that's in the Course of Miracles is in these 2 sheets. You know these 2 sheets, you apply these 2 sheets, that's it. That's how simple this is. This is how simple the Course of Miracles is. It is. I promise you. Okay. So what I want to talk about is the 3 levels of forgiveness, because the course is on many levels, but as you've heard me talking about it, you hear Ken Watman talking about it as the 3 levels. Okay. So this is the level that's above the battlefield, that Ken used to talk about, and down here is forgiveness to destroy. Here we all know at this stage ATF. Yeah. Is there anybody here who doesn't know what ATF is? It's advanced true forgiveness. And what forgiveness in the Course really means is, right, you bring back your projections. Okay? So there's many techniques out there, and last year here in the group that we kind of mastered, a lot of people have found ATF very, very powerful. And it is very powerful, because it breaks down in a couple of steps exactly what forgiveness is. Okay? Now, complete forgiveness. Does anybody know what complete forgiveness is? Okay, we're going to do this now. Right. So what's the difference between ATF and complete forgiveness? That's why you're going to say, right, what is this? All right. So this is reactive, this is proactive. That's the difference. Right. What I mean by that is I'm feeling guilty, okay? I'm going to project that guilt out. I'm going to see the guilt in you, right? I'm going to pick you, Cora. All right? I'm going to see the guilt in you. I'm going to react to that, okay? And my reaction tells me now, okay, that I have to do something with this. Either I see you as guilty, and the guilt is yours, or I apply ATF, and I look back at my projections. So what ATF is, you're reacting to your individual projections all the time. Isn't that be true? Right. The difference now here is complete forgiveness. Okay? I'm feeling guilty. This is really you becoming one with the body. This is you becoming one with your emotional state of mind, your emotional blocks, anything that comes up in the body, anything that you react to. Okay? So complete forgiveness now will deal with this reaction before it's projected out. Does this make sense? Right? So you know now what complete forgiveness is. No. All right. I can assure you you do.
So you deal with your emotions before you project it. You catch them, as it were.
Take one of those sheets and pass them out. See if anybody now knows. We have done this.
There's nothing to forgive.
Huh?
There's nothing to forgive. Like, you didn't do anything.
Well, your body, if your body's reacting to something, there's something to forgive. Okay? And that means if you're angry, you're depressed, you're irritated, you're anxious, any and all of the above. Okay? Because complete forgiveness is you becoming now one with your own body. Because Jesus says the purpose of the body is to facilitate learning. So your body now, if you become at one with your body and listen to your body, okay, then when your body reacts and there's something not nice inside it, then it's telling you something. Like Jesus says, I think it's in chapter 8, discomfort is arose within the body for the need for correction to come into awareness. What he's really saying is, right, if you listen to the body, okay, the body will tell you straight away that there's something wrong. So you can see in this sheet, when we've done this, Joe, you recognize it? This is complete forgiveness. Because what it's doing, this is doing completely everything. It is undoing judgments. right? Because your judgment leads to a rationalization. So you look at the first one, grief, the loss of a loved one. We believe that the reason why we're grieving is because someone very close to us has passed away, and now we're feeling all this grief. That grief has always been inside us. Always been inside us. It's been covered up by all our coping mechanisms. Okay, people cover it up with drink, with drugs, with relationships, going to the gym. Okay, keeping busy all day. This is why, you know, in the ego thought system, you spend your whole day chasing your tail. You've been filled with things to do. That's because if you dare stop, okay, the grief or loss can come into your awareness, and you never want that to happen. But then something happens, okay? Someone very close to us passes away, and it could even be more subtle. You could lose your job. It could be the loss of a relationship, okay? You could lose your money, you could lose your wallet, you could lose your phone. All of these things, right, are all sense of loss. They're already inside us. So when we feel this in the body, if we deny it, and we'll deny it by rationalizing it, okay, then that denial will be projected out. So if it goes to that stage, then what you do is you go to ATF. Okay, that's the next correction. The first correction now, what we're trying to do here is to get to level 3, remember. Okay, without judgment. So, bringing all errors to truth, like Jesus says, truth will correct all errors in my mind. So by bringing all our errors to the truth at this level, then there's nothing to project, because we're dealing with it now by bringing it to the truth. But if we miss that, okay, what's happens is we're going to project it out. So then what we do, we go to ATF. So I could have projected it out onto Cora. So the next thing that I do then now, I need to be aware that I have done this projection and bring back that projection and claim it as my own. By me recognizing as my guilt, that is what forgiveness is. It's the simple recognition of the guilt that I see in you's mind. Okay, that's just a quick synopsis of what ATF is. All right, but on this level, on this sheet of paper, it's complete, because you're undoing the beliefs, you're undoing the judgments, you're undoing the rationalizations, you're undoing the separation, or the belief in separation. Because if you look at the right-hand column, every one of them is a belief in either sin, guilt, or fear. And those are the beliefs that we're here to undo. There is no separation. It's only the belief in separation that we're here to undo. Okay?
Are you saying that the reason for these emotions are always there?
Yes.
And the reason for them being there is because there's a belief in separation?
Yes.
And then that the loss of a loved one or whatever, that acts as a trigger?
That's the rationalization.
Yeah.
We're saying the reason why I'm feeling this grief is because someone very close to us passed away. So all of this grief. We felt the enormous grief at the moment we believed we separated. And it was the grief over the loss of God. Okay? So we went from bliss into total darkness in an instant. Or we believed we did. Okay? And that was horrendous. So anybody here, and I know there's been at least a half a dozen people here have experienced bliss. And they have lost it. All they have done is relive that same instant that they were in heaven and went to hell in an instant. You see, in the ego thought system, it's built upon layers. There's some of the ego thought system nice. Some of it very good, provided you get what you want. There's some of it's alright. There's some of it's complete hell. So when you move within the ego thought system, within the layers, it's not that bad. You know, it's not good, but it's not that bad. There's not that much of a, distance between what's good, what's really good, and what's bad. You know, it's really all the same. There's nothing really changes. You don't have that bliss, you know. But when you move from the bliss of the right mind, or level 3, back into the ego thought system, it's just horrendous. And I know there's a couple of people here in the room who have been experiencing this of late. Okay? So, there's one of those 13 spiritual laws that they're following up on, that's catching them out. And I think the one that's catching nearly everybody out is judgment. It's the ego's last throw of the dice. You can really do all of those spiritual laws, but the one that's going to pull you up the most and trigger you the most is judgment. Because it's the one that the ego depends on for its survival. And it's not given up very easily. So, what I was saying to people, right? First of all, be aware of your judgments. Okay? Now, I know somebody, I did a workshop yesterday with someone, and basically what they're able to do now, and they've come from hell into the right mind in 2 years, but what the reason why now they're able to keep the right mind more often is because in the same instant that they make a mistake, they're able to correct it instantly. That's what really we need to do with judgment. So you need to be aware of your judgments first, not judge yourself for judgments, but then look at the situation again without judgment. Try to look at it without judgment. And you've done it. And I've done it with a couple of people here in the break. You know, with situations in their own families and relationships. And I just said, right, look at this now without judgment. There's no problem. There's no problem. They couldn't see a problem. But when they judged, it was a big problem. So you can train, this is a course of mind training, you can train your mind, okay, to look at without judgment. Just keep practicing. But the way to do this is to correct it when you find yourself judging. Just look at this again and say, right, I'm aware of the situation.
Keep catching yourself every time you.
Yeah, it's the correction.
I'm having a problem with compassion and judging. Like, to me, probably there wouldn't be compassion if I didn't have judging before.
You have compassion when you're not judging.
No, like, compassion might come up, but after judging.
Right.
Okay, so I cannot go to compassion without actually.
Right. Define compassion.
Define compassion?
Yeah. What do you mean by compassion?
Sending love.
Sending love.
Feeling love, sending love.
Right.
Yeah.
For what reason?
For differences, like with other people or something.
Someone who is probably less well off than yourself.
No,
Oh.
not less differences in
Yeah.
thinking or
Right.
that are actually conflicting because we're probably living together.
Right. Do you see now what the problem is? You're seeing differences.
Yes.
That's the judgment. That's not compassion. Compassion is seeing the other person at one with you. That's love. The ego's compassion is seeing someone else separate from you, different from you, and someone that needs something. Yeah? That comes from judgment. So you're correct in that part. But where you're kind of slipping up is you think that compassion is, you know, you're having compassion because this person is separate from you or different from you. That's not compassion. That's hate. Sorry.
No, it's,
Do you know what it is?
Yes.
You know, it's like false empathy and true empathy. Okay, if you walk into a hospital and you see someone, you know, that's really, really sick, you know, and your heart goes out because their frail body and they're so sickly and all of these things. All you're doing is sticking the knife in deeper. True empathy is when you look at that person, okay, and then you see that person as perfect. That's healing. So you first of all, you look at the person and you will see the body, you will see the sickness. Then what you need to do is bring the need for correction into play and look at the person again. Without judgment, you won't see the body. You'll only see the person the same as yourself at one with you. That's love. That's healing. All love is healing. So for true compassion, okay, is seeing the person at one with you, that they have no needs. That's love. That's without judgment. You can only have compassion without judgment. You can only have love. Because compassion and love are supposed to be the same, aren't they? Yeah? But you can't have that if you're making a judgment and seeing differences. Yeah? So the whole point of this is you are going to see what you've always seen. But you need to then say, right, I need to look at this again. I need to look at this person differently. I need to see this person at one with me. I need to look at this person without judgment. And if you look at the person, no matter who they are, or what, what their body is, or, what, physical ailments they have, mental ailments they have, that's the greatest gift you can give to anybody, because that's love. Ego knows nothing about love. The ego has its own definition of love.
So for instance, the person who sees sick and frail, maybe down with cancer, what have you, if you look at it without judgment, you see them as yourself, see them as perfect love.
Yeah.
That doesn't actually prevent you from still maybe comforting.
Exactly. Exactly.
Still see them together.
Yes. This is all to do with here.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you go to a funeral, you don't go and shout not, there's no death, all of these things. You go in knowing in your own mind there is no death, but you join with the other people at the same level that they're at. You meet people where they're at, not where you're at. And when you're living your life without judgment, the beauty about this, right, is you're not going to see anybody being judgmental. The problem, you see, on the three levels, you have judgmental here, you have non-judgmental. When you're non-judgmental, all you see is the judgmental people.
So you're still being separation
Yes.
between you and them.
Yes, exactly.
And you're judging them for
Yeah.
judging.
And when you're up here without judgment, all of this is one. You're one with everybody. So the judgmental and non-judgmental are one with you.
So when you move from level 2 to 3, from advanced true forgiveness to complete forgiveness,
Yeah.
it's just an awareness that all these emotions are still inside you, that there's nothing.
That you're taking responsibility. So this is really, complete forgiveness is taking complete responsibility. You have to be aware of a few facts, okay? And one fact is, okay, all pain is already inside us. All grief, all fear, all guilt, all anger, depression, it's all in here. So this is what Freud was doing with all his ego defenses, okay? But what those defenses do, they keep the ego in place. They keep the ego in play. They keep a strong ego. So what we're doing in the Course of Miracles was we're letting go, right, of all of these ego defenses. So what Jesus is really saying here is right, I'm not going to leave you with anything. We have spent the last 3 years here as a group undoing. We've been undoing, on all the levels. And now there's a space in our lives, right, where it needs to be replaced with a new way of living. And this is what these new laws are. These are now a new way of living. These are the new coping mechanisms. Okay? So these coping mechanisms right now sustain you, these laws sustain you in a new way of living a life. But this life is going to be total peace, full of joy, full of love. And that's where the bliss is. When you meet those three conditions, peace, love, and joy, that's where the bliss comes.
Yeah, I was going to ask, when you say the ego doesn't give up without a fight, it sounds to me like it's an entity or has its own
No, that's the
function
system.
or something.
That's the system.
So,
That's the whole system. You see, in this system, right, it has a number of defenses that keep you in there. Once you're in there, it's very hard to get out of there. And one of the biggest defenses that the ego uses is rationalizations. Remember we did the workshop with all the ego defenses we did?
so what's the ego then?
It's a thought system. Like Jesus said, it's foolproof. It's foolproof because once you're in the middle of it, right, it has a number of defenses that keeps you in there. And the biggest one of all is rationalizations. Judgment is only a tool that the ego uses. Projection is only a tool that the ego uses. So it's like, the ego has its own toolbox. Jesus gives us a new toolbox.
And where did the ego originate? Like what?
The ego is simply the thought that you can be separate from God. And we took that thought literally seriously.
Yeah, but you say that like there's two things. There's something thinking we're separate and us
Yes.
fooling ourselves that that's
Well,
true.
you see, you've never left heaven, Elish, right?
Yes.
but there's a part of you that believes it did. And that part is not real, it doesn't exist. And that's the part that you think is you. Okay, so there is literally two yous, and one of them's not real. So the you that's in this thought system, from the very beginning to the very end, has never existed. It's only because you believe that it has existed. So this is the part that we must undo of ourselves. But our true self has never left heaven. Because this, at heaven, at that highest level, this thought system only lasted an instant. It was over and done with in the same instant. The moment the tiny man idea came in, the same instant it was cracked, it was over and done. But in time, in the separation itself, we believe that it happened over billions and billions of years.
But the tiny mad idea originated within the me that's in heaven.
In a dream with you that's in heaven. Remember, you've never been awake in heaven. So you've always been what you would call in a non-conscious state of being. So you've left the non-conscious state of being and you went into a non-conscious state of being. And you've been in that unconscious state of being ever since. And now you're waking up to being conscious again, and then you're going to go from conscious back to non-conscious, which is back into the oneness. But the only difference is, now when you wake up in heaven, you're going to be awake.
So the journey is to become conscious in heaven.
No, the journey is for you to become conscious in the dream.
Okay.
And then you're making the choice. So it's like here. The decision maker at the lowest level has never been conscious. It's been unconscious, and we've been choosing between the ego wrong mind and the ego right mind. And that's where the whole world is. They're totally unconscious. And they believe that they're making choices. But they're not. So we have to move to being back to the decision maker to make true conscious decisions. So what we're doing here today, okay, in those 13 laws, is now we're going to make conscious decisions to lead a spiritual life of who we are. And that's what's going to take us back to heaven. And when we're back to heaven, we're going to be awake. It's
Which
not,
isn't conscious.
huh?
Which isn't conscious.
Which is going to be non-conscious. Okay?
So you've completely transcended unconscious,
And conscious.
and you're
Yes,
both
yes.
too.
It's kind of like being without judgment.
Ah, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, all right, we can't even think about that state of mind. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's beyond our capacity, because it's a state of pure oneness. You
We're
know?
still duality.
Yeah. You know? So, you can see here in the sheets, complete forgiveness. So this sheet of paper, right, should be one of the most important documents in your life. Because this is going to help you to live the spiritual laws. Because on one side, you're undoing the ego thought system, and on the other side, you're now going to become what you call right-minded, all right, or one-minded. So you have one part of you now that's going to be helping you out of one thought system, and the other part is the 13 spiritual laws, which is going to keep you. The problem with people so far in the world is they are getting out, right, of the ego thought system, but they can't stay out. There's something pulling them back in. Not right, Carmen? You know? So, you know, that could happen for a very long time, and I know a number of people that that's been happening. They've been feeling this unbelievable peace. They've been feeling this unbelievable bliss. But it stays, and then it goes, and then it may come back, and then it may goes.
Judgment just spinning for a revolving door.
Yeah, but, you know, judgment could be one of them, you know. Judgment will definitely be one of them, all right? But there could be one or two other ones, like, you know. But judgment is the one that they're all going to use to pull you back out of there. Yeah?
If you're being brought back, is that because there's still work to be done?
No. No.
It's still a choice.
The work that has to be done, right, is catching what's pulling you back in.
So there is the work to be done.
Yeah, that is work. But it's not that you have to go back in here to do anything. You know, what work has to be done is what's catching you out. You know, which of these am I not aware of? Because Jesus says in the Course that the ego thought system is cunning and it is devious. Okay, now with the help of these spiritual laws, all right, there's nothing else out that the ego can use that's not here. All of these are in the Course. So whatever one is catching you out, basically it's up to you to be vigilant to do this. See, this is where the real work is in this, is you have to find a way of getting these into your mind. Just reading them on a piece of paper and knowing them ain't good enough.
What about all 13 are catching it out?
What?
What about all 13 of them are catching it out, not just one or two?
Well, you have work to do.
I think so.
You have work to do. You have a lot of work to do. Okay. Right, let's just show of hands, right? Anybody here one of these?
Do you mean only one?
Yeah,
Only one.
yeah. Is anybody here?
How do you mean?
Does anybody here, say, has anybody here, well, there's really 12, right, and take them off, the first one, all right. Out of these 12, right, is there anybody here that has all 12 nailed? No. Is there anybody here that has 11 nailed? 10 nailed? Be honest with yourselves.
Very good.
Right, anybody here with 9? 8? 7? 6? 5?
So you have them at some times and not at others.
Yeah.
You don't have them less.
I'm not going below 5. Right, James, there's a lot of work to be done. You know, seriously, like, no. There's a lot of work to be done. Because this is really with the mind training, find a way of just putting these now into action. And like I say, right, I'm going to,
Are they on your website,
yes, one pass those on there.
Details are on there.
The last one of these papers is confusing, you know, the forgiveness.
Yeah?
The last one down here is about confusion.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like it's not an emotion.
Huh?
It's not like I wouldn't classify that as an emotion.
Yeah? Well, it's the same one as grief. You know? That's really just the same as grief. That's really the same as grief. Do you know what I mean? You see, well, what we're all going to do is sooner or later we're all going to basically experience someone very close to us who has died, passed away, you know? And, you know, at the end of the day, that brings up a lot of fear on us. So, you know, it's still coming from the belief in separation because it's our own death. All right, it's our own death. We literally have died in the separation. We have died to our true self. Do you know? And that is a belief also. That's what the belief is in there in the separation. We believe we have separated, and that's where our death is. You know, because who we are is not who we are. But who we truly are has never died. The ego is convincing you that the Son of God is dead. It says that. And it's out to kill anybody who claims to be the Son of God. Because to the ego, anybody who is guiltless is guilty. This is why he crucified Jesus. He was blaspheming. He was blaspheming the ego thought system. He was saying, you know, and this is what religion says, like, you know, that we killed him because he was blaspheming against God. The Son of God is dead. So we killed him.
The emotions, the negative emotions are already in the mind.
Yes.
Okay? And we go about applying this stuff and keeping ourselves in our right mind.
Yes.
Does that mean the emotions won't get healed?
But you
Like,
see,
they need to be triggered in order to clear it,
right. Why is the emotions there?
because we are thinking
Where's the emotions come from?
thoughts,
Right. Where's the thoughts?
the ego thoughts.
In the ego thought system.
Yeah,
Right. So as long as you're in the ego thought system,
those emotions are negative.
exactly. And the deeper you're in here,
So you just go, they're not real, so they don't need to be healed as such, they just need to be avoided or corrected.
No, they need to be corrected.
Well,
Yeah, that's the correction. You see, it works like this, Elish, right? Let me see. Right. This is the way it works. All right. This is what I was really meaning at the beginning, where the choices you make. Okay. So it comes from choice. Okay. Then thought. Okay. Then the thoughts come. Then the emotions come. Then denial comes. And then projection comes. Okay? So you could even put choice, thought, emotion, denial, projection. So if you're going to be dealing with emotion, you're going to be dealing with emotions for this lifetime and many lifetimes after that. That's what we've been doing in all the lifetimes up to this point. You know, that's not the problem. And the thoughts are not the problem. That is the problem. So you deal with the choice. You know, once you go in to be right-minded or go in to be without judgment.
so the choices you've made in the past that created these emotions that are suppressed, you can just draw a line and go, not dealing with it.
Right.
You
Okay.
choose again.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you choose again. But I think I know now where you're coming from, right? If you're remaining attached to emotions in the past, then you're clearly not taking responsibility. You haven't forgiven them. And anything that you remain attached to is going to keep pulling you back into the ego thought system. Jesus says, give up your possessions and follow me. They've said, give up your attachments and follow me. If you don't give up your attachments, you're going to be kept pulled back in again. So, you know, at the end of the day, what's going to make you right-minded more than anything else is complete forgiveness. And this is what we're doing. You know, if you have an emotion that keeps coming up over and over and over again, what's it telling you? You haven't let it go. You haven't healed it. You haven't forgiven it. And you must be rationalizing it in some shape or form. This is what the past is really all about. And this is why, you know, in them months meditations, right, I think there's one of them on responsibility, you know, and what really you do with this is you go in your meditations, deep into your mind, look at everything in your past, but you have to be truly honest to do this. You know, if you're not honest with yourself, it means you're rationalizing. And if you rationalize, then you're lying to yourself. Okay? So complete honesty for this to work for you. So if there's an emotion, if you're in and you're having really, you know, right-minded, and you're really at peace, and you're really at bliss and everything, and all of a sudden something happens. Be honest, what happened? Was it a judgment? Was it the past? Was it guilt? Was it fear? Just be honest with yourself. You're really learning to become your own psychotherapist here. You know? And in these 2 sheets of paper, all right, you can go onto my website and you'll find, what do we call it again? Rules for Living. And you'll find this one right beside it, Complete Forgiveness. And there you have the complete Course of Miracles. If you can put all your energy into both of those, you know, the ego says that, you know, yeah, the ego loves to analyze. All right, it loves you to have this thought, you know, and analyze it. And all you're doing is making the whole thing real. And the more that you do that, then the ego's got you by the curly whirlies.
And Michael, that choice is always the present, isn't it? So even if you're thinking about stuff that has happened in the past and emotions that you've held on to, the choice is always that you're holding them at this present moment.
Yes, yes.
So at any given moment you can choose not
Yes,
to happen.
yes.
So that's just why it's out.
Yes, yes.
The choice is always now.
Yeah.
You're always making the same choice. Well, hopefully not, but you know that you have up to now always to make.
The more that you make the right choices, the more you're going to make right choices. The more that you make wrong choices, the more you're going to make wrong choices. Because that's where your focus is. Okay? So you're focusing on something that's making you choose the ego thought system. Alright, so change your focus. What is it Jesus says, I think, more than anything else in the Course? What is it you want? Do you want the peace of God? And And he goes on to say that other line is, to want the peace of God, to say this means nothing, but to mean this means everything. You know?
But you think sometimes when you look at choice, I would think I have to go back over everything and analyse and choose again with each thing, but it's not. It's always just at this moment, do I hold it or do I just let it go?
You're going to do that automatically with judgment. So what you want to do in this situation, if that comes up again for you, Cora, just look at this thing without judgment. That's automatically taking you into level 3. It's taking you into the right mind, and above the right mind is taking you into the one mind. Because, you know, here you have ego, right mind, wrong mind. Here you have the ego, right mind, and the true right mind. Here in level 3 is the one mind. Okay? So we're going from here to here to here to here. This is without judgment. So in any situation, any problem that you have in your life, ever from this moment on, look at it again, and now look at it with this without judgment. And then can you see a problem? There's a part of you that loves judging. Because you think you need to get in. You need to get in there and see what the problem is. And you're using, what you're doing is you're grabbing judgment out of the ego's toolbox, and now you're going to poke away at it. And you're going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to get to the bottom of this and see what the problem is. Einstein says you can't solve the problem at the same level of consciousness that the problem was created. Okay? So what happens is, we choose here, we don't know that we have chosen here. Now, we have a problem. So here we try to fix this problem. That's what Einstein was talking about. You can't solve this problem at this level. But Jesus is saying, go back here, choose again. That's what I say over again, over and over again. Brother, choose again. It doesn't say anything about thoughts, working with thoughts, analyzing thoughts, or anything else. It just says, brother, choose again. Yeah?
You know, this judgment thing, I'm not too sure about that.
If you,
See, at some point, I feel bothered, say the death of a partner or something.
Right.
You look at that without judgment. So, how do you mean without judgment?
Right. So
We're
let's,
not blaming anybody for anything.
right, okay.
Does the judgment consist of, oh, I judge that this is the end type of thing? Is that what you're saying?
No, there's no judgment. So what would you say the problem would be? Do you want to comfort the person?
Well, say it's the loss of a partner.
Right. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to see why that happened.
No, well, the emotion that would arise out of that, there would be grief.
Great, yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So then how do you see that grief? How do
You're going to feel it.
Yeah.
It's only, you see, to truly let something go, we have to feel it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you can't sit down and say, right, I'm handing over my grief, and you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
Because it's only words. That's called intellectual forgiveness. It means nothing. Okay? If I'm not feeling fear, I can't turn around and say, right, I'm giving over my fear. We have to feel it. But Jesus says very clear, discomfort is arisen within the body for the need for correction to come into play. So the moment you feel it, that's what you need to, don't rationalize it, bring it to the truth. It's always a belief in something. So with a partner, okay, grief comes up. You can rationalize it now if you want. The reason I'm feeling this is because my partner has passed away. Okay, or you can bring it to the truth. The reason I'm feeling this is because my belief in separation from God. Nothing changes with you and your partner, but everything changes with you. If you rationalize your grief, you can spend your whole life rationalizing. And you're going to spend your whole life grieving. What you rationalize, you keep. What you bring to truth, you undo. Truth corrects all errors in my mind, Jesus says.
and it doesn't mean you
Is
don't.
it the judgment that arose there?
The judgment will come from the rationalization. The judgment is the rationalization. So you're saying, I know why I'm feeling like this now. That's the ego's judgment in all of this. Is, listen, the reason you're grieving now is because your partner's died. And then the ego will throw one in then, and you're right keeping the stalls and say, and you weren't that really loving to her anyway. You know what I mean? Like, the ego will not let you off the hook. You know, or why didn't you say this to her when she was alive, or why didn't you do this? All of this stuff, and people are wrecked with guilt over what they said or what they didn't say. I shouldn't have said this, shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have done this. And the ego will take you, if the ego wants you in the grave just as quick as her, like, or him or whatever, like, you know. So you give the ego an inch.
What you're saying is that the reality of all this is the separation.
Yes.
But there is no reality then with the death of
All pain is already inside. It's inside all of us. And what the person who has passed away is giving you a gift of showing you something now that's inside. It's like we have a big cover, dark cover over ourselves here, right? With all the grief, all the fear, all the guilt. And every so often someone comes and lifts up a little bit of the cover and exposes it to us. So what we do then is, you know, if it's guilt or fear, we attack the person thinking, you did this to me. It's already been inside. Do you know? And this is why Jesus says your brother comes with the gift of lilies. We need people to lift this cover over. So now that we can feel it, we can feel it, we can let it go. Now, that lifts the person, gives them the miracle. They're healed. You're healed. Everybody's healed. Then you go home with your brother. That's what, you know, the people in our lives are truly bringing us. They're bringing us the gift of lilies and showing us something that's inside us. Because we are so good at covering this up. You know, and that's what all the ego defenses really do. They keep us rationalizing, sublimitation, you know, displacement. You know, someone who's very angry. How they'll cover up that anger, they'll go and they'll take up kickboxing or something.
So
now,
once we bring it to truth, that's letting it go.
yes, that's undoing it. You're undoing the judgment also. You're undoing the belief. You're undoing the separation. That's healing. That's love. That's a whole lot. That's why it's called complete forgiveness. It is one shot for everything. And you're dealing now with the cause at the root of where it rises in you. If you rationalize it, you will project it out. And then you'll have to go through your individual, you know, bringing back your individual forgiveness lessons. Okay? Now, you don't want to spend like 20, 30 years doing individual forgiveness lessons. I mean, if there is a safety net, if you don't deal with it emotionally at the level where it's at, then you can say, right, I slipped up on that one, now I'm going to do ATF or any other forgiveness technique out there. But what this is training you to do is deal with the cause. Because if you don't project, then you're not attacking yourself, so you're not taking your peace away. So you're going to be more at peace with this. You're going to be more right-minded. You're going to be totally right-minded with this. You know, so this is going to take you into the right mind. Anytime that you have an emotion that's inside you, and anytime that you deal with it with this, you bring it to the truth, you're right-minded. And you're going to be more peaceful. Then, like I say, what you have to do is stay right-minded. You know, and that's what the spiritual laws will help you to see what's pulling you back in. Because it's not your thoughts. Thoughts are not the problem. Yeah? Any other questions? No? Have it? Yeah?
Just looking at this here, it says in the instructions and meditations to read the laws. Have you got the laws?
They're on the website. There are 5 sheets of them, so I couldn't print them all out. They're for rules for living on the website. Okay?
All right, and it's in detail.
Yeah. Is there any of them sheets left? No?
No,
No, everybody's got one?
just exactly right.
Was there? Perfect, perfect. Any questions on the meditations? What we're going to do these meditations now for the rest of the year, we'll be doing 4 now for this month, take us up to September. We'll be doing another 4 then, and then we'll be doing another 4 they'll be all on the laws. So even if you're not, if you haven't been doing the meditations this year, all right, follow the program. Stick in now and do these, you know. And it's basically just a way of, right, you know, even if sitting in the morning, even writing something about one of them. You know, find a way of keeping these in your awareness for a week at least. You know, and like, say the law of responsibility. What I did with that, I just sat and I would go into meditation. I would just look at everything in my life now that I didn't take responsibility for. And I was planting that seed in there. And for that week, it grew and it grew. And everything I looked at then, I took responsibility for it. You know, and now it's there. It's like a beautiful big shrub of flowers in my mind, like responsibility. You know, it's not just a little seed anymore that I just happened to remember once. I let it grow. Remember we did the workshop, Your Mind is a Garden? You can grow flowers, you can grow weeds. That's your thoughts. Okay? So you know the way you hold a grievance with somebody? And you sit and you think about how big of bollocks that is, and you would do that for hours. That's you growing seeds of hate. Do the same with these. You can grow seeds of love. You know, it's not about just reading these and learning it off by heart. Put it in there and let it grow. Grow, grow, grow. Each one of them. And I guarantee you by the end of this year, every one of you will be all self-realized and enlightened. If you're not, I'm resigning. Okay. Anything else? Everybody happy? Right. We'll see you all in September. And